appreciate it. All right, guys. What's going on? All right. I was gonna ask you who was gonna win, but I don't have to ask now. What's up, y'all? All right, y'all. All right. Yeah, my man. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So by now, you guys have already heard the reports of Canelo Alvarez being upset with Golden Boy Promotions because he got stripped of his IBF title. According to Canelo Alvarez, he knew nothing about the deadline when it came to facing Derevyanchenko. I'm gonna get a little deeper into that, but see, when I heard this, I thought that was pretty much the end of it. I didn't know that Golden Boy and Dazn, they are in a state of turmoil. And most of it is stemming from Canelo versus Golovkin talks. It goes deeper than that, but a lot of it has something to do with Canelo and Golovkin fighting a third time. Let me go ahead and get into it. So there was an article that was sent to me, and the title of the article was The Case of Canelo Alvarez versus Golden Boy Promotions. Now, everything that I'm about to read to you guys is in this article. And the writer, the person who wrote this article, he actually reached out to Golden Boy to see if they wanted to deny these claims, if they wanted to refute anything that was said in this article, and Golden Boy didn't do any of that. They had no rebuttals. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the report. Now, you guys already know the whole Golovkin situation where Dazn, they've been trying to push for a third Golovkin fight, and Canelo, he hasn't really been interested in it. And quite frankly, a lot of boxing fans are not interested in a Canelo versus Golovkin third fight. All it is a rerun. We already know how it's going to play out. Even if Canelo wins the fight, if he doesn't knock out Golovkin, all of the fans are going to say Golovkin was robbed no matter what. Because once again, he's the #1 priority on the hope list, and they're going to try to save face the best way they can. And the best thing they could do for Golovkin is continue to say he got robbed, no matter how many times he loses to Canelo. So it's a moot point for Canelo to fight Golovkin right now. Unless Golovkin were to get in the ring once again, fight someone like an Andrade, someone like a Charlo, someone like a BJ Saunders, and he beats them impressively, then it would make more sense for him to fight against Canelo in a third fight. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to the actual report. So according to the reports, Canelo told Oscar during negotiations last year not to promise Dazn a third fight with Golovkin, because Canelo felt he won the second fight in straightforward fashion, and he sincerely disliked the idea of helping out Golovkin financially. And guys, I completely agree with Canelo's assessment of the situation. You guys heard me tell you I think it's unfair while fighters like Danny Jacobs, Demetrius Andrade, and Canelo Alvarez are fighting in the playoffs, Gennady Golovkin gets to sit around fighting Steve Rose and just waiting for another big payday against Canelo Alvarez. That's unfair. If Canelo has to take tough fights, Golovkin should be forced to take at least one tough fight, if not a couple. He should be forced to take at least one fight. Quite frankly, I don't know what Dazn was thinking about. You're going to give this man this big multi-million-dollar contract without having any say-so on the level of opposition that Golovkin would have to face to make this money? That financially makes no sense. Because if Golovkin continues to fight Steve Rose's level of opposition, no one is going to want to pay to watch it. Therefore, Dazn is actually going to lose more money if they don't put Golovkin in against the most meaningful opponents, put him in the most meaningful fights, I should say. Okay, so with that being said, let's get back to this article. So I left you guys with Canelo Alvarez telling Golden Boy, telling Oscar De La Hoya, do not promise Dazn that we're going to fight Golovkin again. So despite Canelo Alvarez saying this to Oscar De La Hoya / Golden Boy, according to this report, Oscar still promised Dazn a third fight with GG anyway, which has hurt a bunch of people. It led to Dazn signing Triple G by guaranteeing him a shot at Canelo that they cannot deliver presently. And now Dazn is in breach of Triple G's contract as a result. Guys, this is more proof that Canelo is the one that tells Oscar De La Hoya what to do. You know, when people tried to make excuses saying, oh, well, you know, it's not up to Canelo, it's his promoter. They always tried to throw it on his promoter. No, everything that you see Canelo doing, if he decides he wants to fight someone, if he decides he doesn't want to fight someone, it's up to Canelo at the end of the day. And this proves that. Because here you have Oscar De La Hoya allegedly telling Dazn, we're going to get you that Golovkin third fight that you guys want. And Canelo is telling this promoter, no, I don't want to fight Golovkin again. He doesn't deserve to get in the ring and get a big payday against me. Which, once again, I completely agree with Canelo. And quite frankly, I could see Canelo Alvarez not even being motivated to fight Golovkin if he already beat him. It doesn't matter what fans say who they thought won. If Canelo officially already beat Golovkin, and Golovkin is over here fighting Steve Rose, he's not even fighting anyone. No one is even talking about Golovkin anymore because he's taking these type of farewell type of fights. You know, these are what senior citizens do. They fight against complete tomato cans before they just ride off into the sunset and retire, like Chavez Sr. used to do. I mean, you want to fight Canelo again, why don't you do something to make the fight more significant, make the fight more relevant, like getting in there with one of the best middleweights and beating them? This is the reason why the NBA's finals and the Super Bowl in the NFL is so highly anticipated. Because you've watched the whole season and you've seen how hard these teams have worked to reach that point, right? Gennady Golovkin has not done that. Golovkin is trying to get a handout, and Canelo ain't giving it to him. So more recently, Triple G's lawyers have now sent Dazn a letter about the violation, demanding a title fight. But this is my whole thing. If Dazn did promise Golovkin they'll give him a third fight, I mean, Golovkin has a 6-fight deal. So I don't know how this contract was set up, but Dazn would have been smart to say, we'll give you this fight, but there's no guarantee when you'll get the fight in the 6-fight deal. Once again, Dazn, they should have put their foot down and they should have told him, but we get to choose who you're going to get in the ring with. And we get to reject the opponent if it's going to be a mismatch that is not going to generate revenue, or at least the revenue that Dazn is looking for. But speaking of revenue, Canelo, according to this report, Canelo is also upset. Get this, he's also upset that Oscar receives his own perks as part of the Canelo's $350 million deal. In other words, part of the paycheck Canelo generates is used to compensate other fighters on Golden Boy's cards. Canelo can't see why that money shouldn't go to the development of his own businesses, like his own promotional companies. So guys, this is not sounding good for Golden Boy. It's not even sounding good for Dazn if Dazn can't promise Golovkin what they promised him. I told you guys, and I'm gonna keep saying it, Canelo Alvarez is doing the right thing by not giving in. Golovkin does not deserve a third fight. He needs to get in there with some of them sharks in the middleweight division and beat them first to get fans talking about a Canelo GG third fight again. We're not at that point right now. So it'll be really interesting to see how all this plays out. Right now, like I said, Golovkin, they're still pushing for that third fight. Canelo Alvarez is in talks. I won't even say negotiating. He's thinking about fighting Demetrius Andrade, because I thought they were in negotiations until Eddie Hearn just recently came out and said, you know, it's up to Canelo Alvarez. We'll find out soon if he wants to fight. That means Canelo Alvarez hasn't even decided if he's going to fight Andrade yet. Once again, just because they reach out to Andrade, it doesn't mean that's who Canelo is going to fight next. We're hoping that's who he's going to fight next, because if he's not going to fight Sergey Kovalev, he's not fighting against Triple G, he's damn sure not fighting against Jamal Charlo, it would seem that Andrade would be the most viable opponent. We'll see. We'll see. But the way things are going right now, it's looking like there's a possibility that Canelo could try to break out of his contract with Golden Boy, while Golovkin at the same time, he could try to break out of his contract with Dazn if he's not happy enough. I don't know where he would go and make that kind of money, but you know, they're threatening basically to do something like that right now. Golovkin is pushing for the third Canelo fight, and Canelo is pissed off with Golden Boy for making promises that he's going to fight Golovkin. So who knows what's going to happen from this point on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can read that entire article that I referred to in this video. And that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.